by local councils.
But people in one neighbourhood, if you've been watching the programme, you'll have seen this, in Greater Manchester, are up in arms after a new development of 60-foot-high warehouses was built, quite literally, in their backyard, blocking out sunlight, blocking out the cooling breeze in summer. We're joined now by the resident there, Steve Retford. Steve, this is not what you guys thought you signed up to. You thought you signed up to a development that was much lower, and then this happens.
Absolutely right. The early plans were single-storey, low-level buildings, leafy walkways. This is the way it was pitched, and they let the planning permission lapse, and then they came back with this monstrosity that's behind me here, which is just huge. The images on the camera don't do it justice. You've got to see it to believe it.
When did you guys begin to realise that they weren't stopping, that this thing was going to grow and grow?
There's been a real haste to get this thing constructed. It became apparent the size of it when some letters were received, and people started to do some research to look at the sheer size of it and the proximity of it to the school and the housing, and we thought this has got to be a mistake. But you look at the size of the place; it's just colossal. It's incredulous that a planning authority would allow that in such close proximity to the houses. We're not NIMBYs. Nobody's a NIMBY on the action group. We knew it was going to be developed, but that is off the scale. It really is.
Look, I think anyone would forgive you for being a NIMBY. I know you don't like the title, but I wouldn't want that in my backyard. Meanwhile, Wigan Council's Director for Place, Aidan Thatcher, says the planning application for 4 warehouses went through the local authorities' planning, consultation and committee process. Right, so the implication is you're all consulted and they did the right thing. What's your response?
Absolutely not. There was a letter went out saying that the plans were going to be changed from what they originally were. The consultation is a real burning issue that hasn't been done. A lot of people were not consulted, and that is one of the real abrasive points at the moment, where people are saying the correct procedures were not followed. Wigan Council can say whatever they want, but I'm telling you, from the residents, those things were not done properly.
And you're all singing from the same hymn sheet. You're all saying the same thing. You're crowdfunding this now. Presumably, what you want to see is those things knocked down.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's put that to Steve Reid, who is the Housing Secretary. Steve Retford, thank you very much indeed. Good morning to you. We know, Minister, that you want to build, baby, build. It's literally your phrase, build, baby, build. Nobody wants that built in their backyard, though, do they? You have these local residents in Wigan who say they weren't properly consulted. And when the rest of us hear you're going to build, baby, build, that's what people will be worried about.
No, it's not build anything wherever you want to build it. Of course, residents need to have a say. And in the legislation we've got going through Parliament, residents will always have a say and should have a say. I caught the end of your interview there with the local resident. I completely understand his anger. I would feel the same way if something got built at the bottom of my garden and I hadn't been consulted on it, but the council should have consulted. Now, I don't know the details of this particular one. I don't know what Wigan Council did or didn't do. It's entirely right that the residents should be able to call them out if they didn't do what they ought to do. But build, baby, build doesn't mean build whatever you like, wherever you like. There has to be consent from local people. It's their area, it's their front doorsteps. Of course, local people should have a say over what gets built there.
Okay, so if they feel, as we heard from that resident, that they did not consent, would you support an application for a judicial review?
Well, residents are clearly sort of crowdfunding for a judicial review, and if the council didn't follow the rules, then the residents will win, and then action will need to be taken. So it doesn't need me. Residents and the council can fight this one out in the courts, and if the residents are right, then consequences will follow.
But I suppose this is the crunch point, isn't it? If existing planning laws aren't strong enough to stop something like that happening, loosening the existing laws is